In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and a winding river, there existed a tale so chilling it kept the townsfolk up at night. No one dared to cross the river after dark, for it was there that a lonely lantern was said to drift, a faint, eerie glow illuminating the mist. This happened every night when the moon was full and the temperature dropped below freezing. As the fog rose from the river, it would carry with it the sound of lamentation, a sorrowful cry that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. Some claimed it was the lost soul of the river ferryman, forever searching for his passengers who perished alongside him. Long ago, before the town was graced by the presence of lanterns, the river was the lifeline between the settlement and the rest of the world. Each evening, a sturdy wooden boat manned by an old, weathered ferryman would make its way across the river, ferrying anyone who needed passage to the other side. But one night, a terrible storm arose. Rain lashed down in torrents, wind howled like a hungry wolf, and the river swelled, becoming a raging torrent. Despite the danger, a group of villagers insisted on crossing. The ferryman, with a heavy heart knowing the risks, finally relented and set off into the maelstrom. As the boat battled against the current, a sudden wave hit, capsizing the vessel. The passengers, caught off guard, were thrown into the icy water, and the ferryman was separated from his lantern. Though some managed to grab onto the overturned boat and stay afloat, the strong current quickly swept them away. The next morning, the villagers gathered on the bank, anxiously searching for their loved ones. All they found were a few personal belongings and the ferryman's lantern still burning. It was then they realized he had sacrificed himself to save them, attempting to light their way in the darkness. And ever since that fateful night, it was said that the spirit of the ferryman returned, forever searching for the souls he lost. People spoke of seeing a faint orange glow on the dark water, a solitary lantern floating downstream, sometimes accompanied by the mournful sound of a flute. Some even claimed to see the ghostly figure of the ferryman at the helm, his face pale and drawn, his eyes filled with sorrow. Years passed, but the legend only grew, keeping everyone away from the river at night. But one winter night, two friends, Daniel and Amir, decided to put the legend to the test. Armed with nothing but a lantern of their own and a healthy dose of skepticism, they stood on the riverbank watching the moon rise over the hills. The air grew colder as midnight approached, and the river seemed to mirror the darkness of the sky. Just as the clock tower chimed 12 times, the water around them began to glow. A faint orange light flickered into view, floating steadily toward them. At first, it looked like a trick of the light, a mere reflection from a distant lamp. But as it drew closer, they saw it was a lantern hanging from something, moving steadily towards them. Fear turned to fascination as they watched it approach. "Maybe it's just someone fishing," Amir whispered, though his voice lacked conviction. Daniel, however, felt a chill crawl up his spine. He couldn't shake off the feeling that this was more than just a simple lantern. As it reached the middle of the river, the light suddenly stopped. A strange calm fell over the water, the only sound being the distant hoot of an owl. Then a deep, hollow voice echoed across the river, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Cross with me," it beckoned. The friends froze. What had been an exciting dare suddenly felt like a terrifying gamble. The lantern glowed brighter, and in the depths below, they saw the formation of pale, human-like faces. They stared up with wide eyes, mouths open as if still gasping for air. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the lantern shot toward the shore, stopping just inches away from where they stood. The water beneath it boiled, and a pale, dripping hand rose from the depths, reaching toward Daniel's leg. In that instant, all rational thought fled. Adrenaline surged through his veins, and he pulled Amir back, away from the beckoning hand. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of the town, the image of the reaching hand seared into their retinas. The next day, they returned with others, hoping to find some evidence of the previous night's events. But all they found were wet handprints leading from the water to the tree line and vanishing. Thus, the legend continued, a chilling reminder for all who lived by the river. If you hear the ferryman's call, do not answer. For those who heed its call are never seen again.